getting worse and worse and worse. I don't think that he can live up to those expectations, and that's his fault. He's been doing that ever since he's been in office.
But there are those who suggest that the strategy is the president will be unveiling certain proposals knowing that they won't get through this Congress, including asking for more stimulus money. And then the fact that it will be tied up in gridlock on Capitol Hill, he can point to the Republicans and say, ha, see, I tried to get it through, but these guys are the ones standing in the way. And that could be part of a strategy, Guy. What do you think?
Well, I think it depends what the proposals actually are. If they're little dink and dunk Mickey Mouse proposals, they're not gonna fix the economy anyway. If the president comes out and says, "Oh, we need an infrastructure bank, and we need to extend unemployment benefits, we need to extend that payroll tax cut," which I think some Republicans are open to, by the way, that's all fine and good. But we've seen those types of things already. Hasn't even come close to achieving the sort of job and GDP growth that the nation desperately needs to extricate itself from the current situation. So I think part of this, Uma, and I wonder if Eric agrees with me, is I think the White House, when it comes to managing expectations, to use his term, I think one of their biggest failures is managing their own expectation that the president's mere presence and words can change things magically.
All right.
I think part of what the White House is hoping here is that the president's going to come out on Thursday night, and just because he's going to stand up in front of Congress on national television, it will look and seem and sound momentous, look and seem and sound important, and the optics alone will convince Americans that the president is trying to do something. And I think that we're past that point. I think we're now looking at substance, and whether the president delivers on that on Thursday, color me skeptical, but we shall see.
Let me call up a soundbite from the president yesterday when he was speaking in Detroit. He was firing up his base, speaking for a Labor Day rally, and it may give us some insights as to what he may be leading towards come Thursday. Can we play that soundbite?
We've got roads and bridges across this country that need rebuilding. We've got private companies with the equipment and the manpower to do the building. We've got more than 1 million unemployed construction workers ready to get dirty right now. There is work to be done, and there are workers ready to do it. Labor's on board, business is on board. We just need Congress to get on board. Let's put America back to work.
All right, Eric, so there you go. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be pushing for the infrastructure efforts, the proposals to go forward and ask, you know, for those jobs that people can, you know, he pitched it a while back saying those shovel-ready jobs, which never really materialized, but the fact that he may be pushing to have monies geared towards infrastructure and that arena. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it sounds great. And everybody's theoretically, at least according to the speech, on board. I don't know if everybody's on board. I still say the Republicans need to get a real candidate to go against him, but I don't think there's any magic answers here. I think the country's in for some very hard years.
When you listen to him talking like that.
Yeah, I love him. He gives a great speech. He's inspiring. He makes me feel good. I'm sick of reading bad news, and this guy makes me feel good. But I also would like to vote for somebody who will actually make changes that will put this country back on a better track. And, you know, I really want it to be the guy that makes the great speeches, because he makes me feel good.
He does have a way of firing up individuals and firing up the base. I mean, because he is great on the campaign stuff. There's no question about that, Doc.
Yeah, but hoping and feeling isn't going to be enough.
Guy, sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I'm just mystified. You know, the hope and the feeling is what we did in 2008.
Yeah.
The concrete results have not played out the way that a lot of people hoped they would. And when you listen to that speech that was given in Detroit, that sounds an awful lot like the speeches that he gave ahead of the stimulus bill, where he talked repeatedly about shovel-ready projects being one of those silver bullets to help fix the economy. And then what did we see earlier this year? The president at a panel joking and chuckling that, oops, well, I guess those shovel-ready projects weren't quite so shovel-ready. I mean, that is just something that isn't acceptable. And for him to go and reheat these warmed-over retread policies, I just don't think it's going to even come close to what we need. And by the way, I think it's very telling that the president, I guarantee you, he's going to come in here on Thursday night here in Washington. He's going to tell Congress, we need to come together. We need to work together. That's the only way forward. But what he's choosing to do is go to Detroit and talk to his hardcore base labor unions, attacking Congress, implicitly Republicans, and, you know, and getting those people fired up. And we saw a clip just before the segment started of at the top of the segment from Jimmy Hoffa Jr. screaming about the Tea Parties and calling them sons of bitches, with everyone cheering wildly in the background. I mean, if that's the sort of unification and coming together to create jobs that this president is looking forward to, I think that he's in for a very rude awakening next November.
Very interesting. All right, I want to shift gears now and focus now a little bit on the Tea Party. The fact that we did get a little taste of that, the fact that, you know, Jimmy Hoffa was trying to get people fired up about, you know, pointing out who he perceives are the bad guys, the obstructionists, the Tea Party folks. The fact is, though, the GOP hopefuls in this arena are really doing their best to court that particular constituency. And now there is some infighting that's been going on within the Tea Party ranks between whether it's Perry, Mitt Romney, Michelle Bachmann. The fact that the Tea Party, one of the Tea Party groups was trying to boycott Mitt Romney's appearance this weekend in New Hampshire because they felt like he doesn't embrace the hardcore values that they believe are part of the base. There are those who say that he doesn't deserve it, but Mitt Romney is trying to stake out his position there. He's trying to show that he can appeal to Tea Party voters as well as people in the middle of the road area.
Well, I think that everybody who was there and wasn't there, Perry wasn't there yesterday, and it wasn't really, the format yesterday, it wasn't a debate.
Right.
You know, they weren't facing off against each
Right.
other, so I think they had the opportunity to show themselves in the best light. But, you know, that's the thing. What's going on over there? Everybody's fighting with the Tea Party. Candidates are fighting amongst themselves. And, of course, it's an election. This is what happens.
Right.
I think in the end,
Right.
The two real challengers will be either Perry or Romney. I've been saying that all along.
I think I interviewed Michelle Bachmann over the weekend, and,
I saw.
And I asked her, you know, specifically if she was concerned about Perry surging in the polls
Yes.
when it comes to the Tea Party constituency. And
I saw.
she tries to downplay that.
Well, she does.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw the interview. It was a great interview. She does that really well. She's very polished. She
Oh, my
didn't bat
God.
an eyelash over that.